Single mom of twins discovers a life-changing connection in job interview with her hidden past. Sarah stood at the bus stop, the brisk Chicago air nipping at her cheeks as she juggled the art project in one arm and held Ethan and Mia's hands tightly with the other. The sun peeked through thick clouds, casting a golden hue on their vibrant collage of family and dreams. "Look, Mama!" Mia squealed, her big brown eyes sparkling. "It's us. Together." The sensory overload of colors, crimson reds, sunny yellows, and deep blues spoke of hope, laughter, and resilience. Each day felt like a tightrope walk: school drop-offs, part-time jobs, and bedtime hugs. The weight of finances often pressed hard against her chest, yet these moments with her twins propelled her forward. But today was different. An interview for a marketing position awaited, a flicker of hope that could spark a shift in their lives. As they waited for the bus, she felt a tingle of excitement, dancing hand in hand with nerves that twisted her stomach. With a kiss on foreheads and promises of story time after dinner, Sarah rushed through the day, rehearsing potential questions in her head. The thought of Jack, the boy who had once made her heart race, pulsed in the back of her mind. Their paths had diverged so long ago. She couldn't help but remember those summer evenings spent under the stars, dreaming about their futures, blissfully unaware of the uncertainty that would shape their lives. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As she stepped into the interview room, the scent of clean paper mixed with cologne wrapped around her. Jack sat across from her stylish suit, reassuring smile. A rush of nostalgia washed over her like a warm wave. A younger Sarah, bursting with dreams, sat at this very table in another life. "I can't believe it's you," he murmured, and she felt her cheeks flush. Their conversation lifted and fell, stories of the past, their ambitions colliding. Jack, the soldier, searching for purpose after the military, and Sarah, surviving against all odds, seeking a way out of her financial struggles. They were two people tethered by shared dreams and painful realities. With every glance, Sarah's heart skipped. Would this job bring freedom for her family, or would rekindled feelings lead her down a different path? Yet, the tension hung palpable in the air as Jack revealed the company's layoffs looming. The stakes twisted in on themselves, and panic crept into Sarah's mind. What did it mean to succeed when faced with such uncertainty? The familiar ache of insecurity twisted deeper. "Did you ever wonder what might have happened if we'd taken different paths?" she asked, the vulnerability spilling like ink across the table. As the interview drew to a close, Sarah's heart raced. She was standing at a crossroads between a chance at stability and the flickering ember of rekindled connection that sparked hope within her. Just as Jack leaned in to guide her toward a decision, her phone buzzed. A message, an announcement that could reshape everything for both of them, loomed and hung heavy in her mind. What choices awaited her now? The phone buzzed again, jolting Sarah from her swirling thoughts. Her heart pounded in her chest as she glanced down at the screen. Emergency meeting at 3 p.m. Everyone must attend. It was from a number she didn't recognize but seemed urgent enough to draw her attention. The weight of the unspoken between her and Jack hung in the air like fog, thick and binding. Jack's eyes remained fixed on her, curiosity etched in his features. "Everything okay?" he asked, a hint of concern threading through his voice. The connection between them pulsed, but the uncertainty about the message made her hesitate. "Yeah, just a work thing," she replied, trying to sound casual, but the tremor in her voice betrayed her. She needed to focus on her goals. This could be a pivotal opportunity, and she couldn't afford distractions. Jack leaned back, his expression shifting slightly. "I know this is a lot. But if you decided to take this opportunity, I'd support you. You've always had the drive, like we talked about back in the day. His words made her heart flutter. The old Sarah, the dreamer, felt like she was clawing her way back to life amidst the responsibilities that often weighed her down. Thanks, she said softly, her voice barely above a whisper. She wished she could reach back into their shared past and reclaim that carefree version of herself, the one who believed in endless possibilities. As they exchanged small talk, Sarah's mind raced. The looming layoffs he mentioned coupled with the pressure of the emergency meeting sent her thoughts spiraling. Was this the right time to channel everything back into her career or focus on the twins? She hadn't yet even processed how it felt to see Jack again, and now this job hung like a pendulum over her future. As Jack stood to wrap things up, a disappointing pang flashed through her. This could be the last time she saw him. I'll keep my fingers crossed for you, Sarah, he said, his voice warm. You deserve this. His words washed over her like a gentle tide, softening the sharp edges of her worries. Thanks, Jack. It was really good to see you, she replied, smiling despite the storm in her heart. On the bus ride home, Ethan and Mia chattered away, oblivious to their mother's inner turmoil. But Sarah's thoughts were a tangled mess. Did she have the strength for either? A stable job? A potential romance? Each path held challenges that seemed insurmountable. That night, as she tucked the twins in, she longed to escape to more straightforward days. As she read the bedtime story, their innocent laughter felt like a lifeline. They were her everything, yet worry gnawed at her. Would she be there for them if her own life unraveled? When her phone buzzed again, ever so softly, an unfamiliar feeling gripped her heart. Curiosity mixed with dread surged through her as she picked it up. The message displayed was from an unknown sender. Meet me tomorrow. You need to know the truth. Sarah's breath hitched. Questions surged like wild horses in her mind. What truth? What was happening? She felt on the brink of something monumental, yet utterly daunting. How would she face whatever lay ahead? In that moment, the future seemed less certain than ever, and Sarah was left with a single, haunting thought echoing through her mind. What truth could change everything? The morning light crept softly through the blinds, casting thin stripes across the room. Sarah had barely slept, her mind a whirlpool of possibilities. The twins' early chatter, bright and innocent, filled the house with warmth, but anxiety coiled tightly in her stomach. The message from the unknown sender loomed over her like a storm cloud. Mommy, can we have pancakes? Mia's little face peeked over the edge of the kitchen table, her wide eyes sparkling with mischief. Sure, pumpkin, Sarah replied, forcing a smile. Cooking helped her focus. It allowed her to shut out the worries swirling in her head, even if just for a moment. As she flipped the pancakes, the scent of vanilla and maple syrup enveloped the kitchen, intertwining with the laughter of her children. But even this simple routine couldn't chase away the unease. Mommy, are you okay? Ethan asked suddenly, tilting his head. His perceptive little eyes seemed to see straight through her. I'm fine, sweetie. Just a bit tired, she managed, ruffling his hair. His innocent trust warmed her heart, but a pang of guilt followed. She wanted to be a pillar of strength for them, not a whirlwind of conflicting emotions. After breakfast, the twins begged for cartoons while Sarah attempted to process the day ahead. She picked up her phone again, staring at the screen, hesitating to dial the number of her boss. The emergency meeting was on the horizon, and she felt an urgent need to grasp control over her life before the meeting turned everything upside down. But the unknown message gnawed at her. Curiosity drew her in, her fingers danced over the screen, typing a quick reply. Who is this? What truth? She was startled by the weight of her intuition, as if she were opening a door to a world that had been left untouched too long. The buzz of her phone was a welcome interruption. The name Megan appeared on the screen, her best friend and confidant, who knew her better than anyone. She answered immediately, comfort flooding over her as if a lifeline had been tossed. "Hey, Sarah. Are you ready for the meeting?" Megan's voice crackled with excitement. "I have a good feeling about it. Yeah, I guess it's just something weird happened. I got this message, and I don't know what it means." "What did it say?" Megan's tone shifted, attention peaked. "Meet me tomorrow. You need to know the truth." "I don't know what to make of it," she blurted out, her chest tightening with each word. "Mama bear instincts kicking in?" Megan joked lightly. "You have to find out, Sarah. This could be important. Just think, what if it's good? Or it could be a scam," Sarah whispered, but deep down she recognized the sliver of hope igniting in her. Would the truth guide her closer to a path she'd longed for but feared to chase? "Go with your gut. You might find something unbelievable, or maybe even someone who could change everything," Megan encouraged. As she hung up, her heart raced. Could the truth she sought unlock a door to her future? Or would it lead her to pitfalls she was not prepared to face? The children's laughter faded into the background as she sat quietly in the living room, holding her phone. Tomorrow felt more significant now, like the opening scene before a pivotal moment in a play. A deep breath steadied her resolve. And just like that, she knew. She had to take the leap, to uncover what lay hidden. Could this truth be the beacon guiding her back to the old Sarah, the dreamer? Just as doubts began to resurface, her phone buzzed again. "Meet me at the park. 10 a.m. Trust me." Her heart skipped a beat. Who was this person? What awaited her? The weight of tomorrow pressed down like a heavy curtain. But one thing was clear, it was time to uncover the truth, whatever it may hold. The tension in Sarah's chest felt like a pressure cooker ready to burst. As she tucked the twins into bed that night, her mind kept racing back to the message. With each soft goodnight exchanged and every kiss planted on their foreheads, she fought to maintain a composed facade. But inside, her heart pounded, echoing the uncertainty that loomed just outside. "Mommy, are you sure you're okay?" Ethan's voice peeked through the fading warmth, his small hand clasped tightly around her fingers. "I'm just thinking about tomorrow, love." "I have a big meeting," she replied, forcing cheer into her voice. "Will you get a new job?" Mia's eyes were wide, innocent. "Maybe, pumpkin. But whatever happens, I promise I will always be here for you," she assured them. After they drifted off to sleep, Sarah settled on the couch, her phone resting heavily beside her. She tried to distract herself with a book, but the words blurred together as her thoughts kept spiraling back to the unknown sender. Who was waiting for her in the park? What was the truth she was meant to learn? Could what awaited her actually change everything? The night dragged on, filled with fleeting moments of hope mixed with shards of doubt. She thought of Megan's words, nudging her to chase the unknown. Was this a path to her dreams or a fool's errand? She let out a shaky breath, realizing she needed to be bold. Whoever this person was, they felt important. The next morning dawned bright and unyielding. The scent of pancakes drifted through the house again, but this time, Sarah found it hard to enjoy the simplicity of breakfast. Excitement and dread knotted within her. Between the twins' cheery voices and their laughter, she glanced at the clock, the hands ticking away the minutes. Every second pulled her closer to the park, to the truth. "Mama, can we go to the park today?" Ethan asked, bouncing excitedly on his seat. Not right now, sweetie. I have to go to a meeting," she replied, trying to keep her expression steady. "A secret meeting?" Mia chimed in, her little face filled with curiosity. "Something like that," Sarah said, forcing her smile. Deep down, she felt like she was lying. All she could think about was the truth that awaited her. As they finished eating, she caught sight of her reflection in the window, a tired, uncertain version of herself. She couldn't shake the feeling that the truth might uncover a part of her she'd kept buried for too long. Was she ready for whatever might come next? After cleaning up, Sarah couldn't delay any longer. She tucked her phone in her pocket, took a deep breath, and grabbed her coat. "Let's get some fresh air, kiddos," she called, as the twins cheered in delight. The walk to the park felt surreal. The trees whispered secrets in the breeze, and she could feel her heart racing in rhythm with her anxious thoughts. A child's laughter danced around her as they reached the park gates, but the anxiety clawed at her insides. And there he was. A man leaning against a bench, a figure she had never met but felt somehow drawn to. His demeanor was relaxed, yet an intensity radiated from him that felt electric. As she approached, core memories stirred. Were they linked somehow? Did he hold pieces of her past that could reshape her future? She paused, doubts swirling. Did she have the strength to face whatever revelation this man held? "Sarah," he called softly, as if he had been waiting just for her. And in that moment, the world around her faded, leaving only the first step into the unknown. Tomorrow would bring answers. But what would they reveal? Sarah took a hesitant step forward, her gaze locked onto the man who had called her name. The world around them blurred into a muted backdrop, as if the universe had orchestrated this moment specifically for her. Time slowed. She could feel the weight of expectation in the air, the anticipation of what might come next. "Hi," she finally managed, her voice small. She fought to create a smile, though doubts flitted like fireflies in her heart. "You're Liam, right?" He nodded, a small grin tugging at the corners of his lips. "I'm glad you came, Sarah." His eyes were a deep brown, warm yet piercing. "I know this is all sudden, but there's something important we need to discuss." Sudden? The understatement of the year. Sarah's mind raced. What could possibly be urgent enough to warrant a meeting in a park? She ran her fingers nervously along the seam of her coat, searching for an anchor in this surreal encounter. "Is it about the job?" she asked, hoping to reset the conversation. While that was part of her reality, the weight of her personal history felt much more pressing. "Yes and no," he replied, taking a step closer, lowering his voice. "I have some things to say, not just about the position, but about you and your past." A chill swept over her. "My past?" The words tumbled from her mouth, tinged with both confusion and a hint of dread. "I don't. I haven't spoken to anyone from that time in years." He held her gaze, sincerity etched on his face. "You're not alone in this. I can help you if you allow me to share what I know." Her breath hitched. On one hand, the last thing she wanted was to revisit the parts of her life she had fought so hard to escape. On the other, what if his intentions were genuine? What if there was something in her history that could change everything for her and the twins? A soft gust of wind rustled the leaves above, feeling almost like nature's own encouragement. "I'm listening," she finally stated, her pulse quickening. Liam shifted, his expression solemn. "I knew your mother, Sarah. I've been trying to piece things together after she passed. There are things she left behind, things that could help explain, well, everything." Shock rippled through her. Her mother had passed years ago, leaving an unsettled emptiness that Sarah had suppressed with the day-to-day demands of single parenthood. "What do you mean she left things behind?" she asked, voice trembling. "She didn't just leave you. She left clues, a story you deserve to know. There are reasons for the choices she made," he explained. "And why you felt disconnected from your past." Sarah's heart raced wildly, the echoes of a life once lived crashing against her consciousness. Anger, grief, and curiosity intertwined. What had her mother hidden? Before she could form a coherent thought, a distant cry broke the moment. Mia and Ethan were running towards her, their laughter vibrant and grounding. For just a moment, they filled her with a light-hearted joy that felt worlds away from the heavy conversation looming before her. "Mama!" Look at us. Ethan exclaimed, the urge to be carefree pouring from him like sunshine on a rainy day. Hey, guys. She turned, forcing a smile and a brave face. I see you. Just a little chat here, okay? Liam's eyes softened as he watched the twins. We can do this later, if you need time. No, she said firmly, quickly recentering herself. Let us talk now about my mother. About the past. His nod was almost imperceptible, but it spoke volumes. Gathering her courage, she took a deep breath and made the decision to step into the unknown with new resolve. But as she looked at Liam, questions roiled in her mind, like a storm brewing just beyond the horizon. What revelations awaited her? Did she really want to unlock doors best left closed? That one question rang clear as the park around them faded further into the background. With each passing second, Sarah felt like she was teetering on the edge of a cliff, ready to jump into waters both inviting and frightening. And just as she prepared to take that leap, her phone buzzed in her pocket, shattering the weight of the moment and pulling her back. Was there news left hanging in the other realm of her life waiting to unfold? What would it mean for her if everything changed at once? Her heart raced as she fished the phone from her pocket, fingers trembling slightly. The screen lit up with a message from her sister, Amy, a buzz of excitement and concern wrapped in one. Need to talk. Urgent. Sarah felt heat rush to her face, drowning the thrill of the moment with a sudden wave of anxiety. Could this news derail everything? She glanced at Liam, whose brow furrowed slightly as he noticed the shift in her demeanor. His warm expression was still inviting, yet she could see a hint of concern in his eyes. Is everything okay? He asked gently. I don't know, she replied, shaking her head. She had to choose. In that instant, the weight of her sister's message felt heavier than the conversation with Liam. Mia and Ethan danced around her, their innocent laughter almost grounding her in the chaos of her swirling thoughts. She wanted to push aside the uncertainty and immerse herself in this moment, but the nagging thought of Amy wouldn't let her. I'll reply quickly, she promised, stepping away to give herself a moment. She typed a response, fingers moving swiftly on the screen. Can we talk later? As she hit send, uncertainty gnawed at her. What did Amy need to say that was urgent enough to disrupt everything? Returning to Liam felt daunting, and as she approached him, the tension in the air was palpable. I'm sorry, she mumbled, feeling the weight of her distraction. What were we discussing? Liam hesitated, then took a chance. We were talking about your mother, and what she left behind. Right. The gravity of those words hung between them. The fact that there was more to her mother's past, to her own past, was finally within reach, but why did it feel so scary? I want to understand. I really do, she urged, voice steadier now, determination creeping in. Tell me what you know. His expression softened further, and he took a breath as if preparing to unveil secrets that had been locked away. Your mother was involved in something significant. Things are connected, Sarah, in ways you may not realize yet. Connected how? She pressed, the urgency behind her question mingling with fear. She felt like she was lifting the lid off a pot that might boil over at any second. There's a next step, he continued, moving closer. I discovered a set of documents, notes, pieces of a much larger story. They lead to someone you should meet. Who? Liam reached into his bag and pulled out a small, worn envelope, handing it to her. These contain details. I want you to read through them, and then decide if you want to take the next step. As Sarah held the envelope, an electric jolt coursed through her. Each crease in the paper felt like a bridge to something unknown. Is this dangerous? She asked, her voice barely a whisper. The thoughts of her children flashed in her mind. Would her quest for answers endanger their world? Not like that, he reassured, his voice calm. But it may make you question everything you thought you knew. That's the risk you take when you dig into the past. She bit her lip, excitement and anxiety entwined. The urgency of her sister's message nagged at her, but this opportunity to finally uncover her mother's secrets felt almost fated. Liam's eyes were earnest, waiting for her decision, and she felt tethered between two worlds, the pull of her past and the weight of her present. As she stood there, envelope in hand, she felt a greater storm brewing within her, a whirlwind of choices, questions, and potential revelations. "Mama! Come play with us!" Mia called, her voice a sweet melody that snapped Sarah back to the moment. The twins' laughter ringed even louder in the background, a balm against her growing turmoil. But before she could answer, Amy's message popped back into her mind. How could she unravel these threads of her past when her sister's urgent call was pulling her back? Would it mean facing the unknown? And as she looked at Liam, a part of her wondered if some doors were meant to be opened, even if the truth was scarier than she had ever imagined. What if the next step not only revealed details about her mother, but also about herself, who she had become in the absence of the past? "Let us start with the envelope," she finally said, voice steady. "I want to know." But as she opened it, her phone buzzed again. What new surprises and challenges would it bring now? As the contents of the envelope spilled out, a flurry of papers mixed with a photograph slipped onto the ground. Sarah's fingers moved to pick them up, her heart racing quicker with every moment. Each document felt like a piece of an unidentifiable puzzle, and the photograph was no exception. She paused, breath catching as she held the image in her trembling fingers. It was a faded black and white snapshot of her mother, a younger version of the woman Sarah had known, eyes bright with ambition, a slight smile dancing on her lips. But who was the man standing beside her? His presence felt foreign, yet strangely familiar, as if he were a ghost from a childhood dream. "Who is this?" she murmured, more to herself than to Liam, drawn deeper still into the world her mother had inhabited. The name written at the back sent a chill through her. It read Daniel Hayes. "I think he might have been significant in your mother's life," Liam said softly, watching her closely. "From what I gather, he was more than just a friend. Their connection, it might help you understand why she kept so much hidden." "What do you mean?" Sarah asked, voice tight with curiosity and concern. "He was part of something large, something that involved your mother in ways most people wouldn't expect. It could explain her reluctance to share her past with you." A knot twisted in her stomach. Did this connection darken her mother's legacy? Was it something she would want to uncover or run from? Is that why she left? Was there fallout? A decision that pushed her away from her own life? Each question felt weightier than the last, suffocating her with possibilities. Liam nodded. "That's the issue. The deeper you go, the more you'll need to confront your own perceptions about her. Sometimes the truth doesn't align with the memories we hold dear." Sarah glanced towards her twins, blissfully unaware of the tempest of emotions brewing within her. She couldn't shake the thought that if she chased after this truth, what would it mean for them? Would she unravel their world too? Feeling the swell of emotions threatening to break, Sarah took a steadying breath. "I have to do this. I owe it to my mother, and to myself." Suddenly, her phone buzzed again. This time it didn't hesitate, not waiting for her to glance at the screen. It was Amy, and she was calling. Sarah's heart constricted at the thought of answering. What could be so urgent that it might change everything? She was grasping the threads of the past, the unfolding mysteries of her mother, and now a family member's call. "The timing, it seems crucial," Liam observed, tension flaring in the air between them. "I can't ignore her," she said, biting her lower lip. "But I can't put this off either." "Maybe you can do both," he suggested. "Tell her you need to talk, but that this is important too." With shaking hands, Sarah swiped to answer her sister's call. "Hey, Amy?" "Sarah. I need you to come home." Amy's voice came through the line, urgency mixed with a sense of dread prickled down Sarah's spine. "It's about Mom, and it's big." The words hit her like a wave crashing. Questions flashed through Sarah's mind, but one stood out, clear as day. What kind of big? Was it connected to the envelope she held, or was it a whole new storm headed their way? Liam stepped closer, concern crinkling the corners of his eyes as he listened. "I'll be there," Sarah replied, knowing that with one simple sentence, she'd opened the door to both a family emergency and the question of her mother's past. As she ended the call and turned to Liam, uncertainty clouded her mind. What do I do now? With the fading sounds of her kids playing in the background and the envelope weighing heavy in her other hand, she realized the threads binding her family and her past were more tangled than she'd ever imagined. She felt torn, standing on the precipice of discovery and responsibility. One foot in her mother's world and the other in her own chaotic life. Could the answers she sought really change the course of their lives? "Let us figure it out together," Liam said, a reassuring smile touching his lips, promising support in the uncertainty that lay ahead. But in the depths of her heart, Sarah wondered what would she lose in pursuit of the truth? As they lingered in the soft sunlight casting long shadows on the ground, she couldn't shake the thought that this was just the beginning, and the next step might unravel everything they held dear. What awaited her on the other side of the truth, and would she be ready for what she would find? The car ride back to her childhood home was a blur. Sarah felt the engine's hum vibrating through her like an anxious heartbeat, each thud sounding louder than the last. Fresh questions swarmed her mind, each one forging new paths in her already tangled web of emotions. Could the photograph and its mystery really hold the key to unlocking her mother's secrets? Or was it just a distraction, an overwhelming temptation veiling whatever truth Amy was about to share? They pulled into the driveway just as dark clouds began to roll in, casting a heavy shadow over the familiar lilac bushes that lined the porch. It felt somehow fitting. The air was thick with the scent of impending rain, suggesting turbulence ahead. "Are you okay?" Liam's voice broke through her thoughts, concern etched across his face even amidst the gloomy backdrop. "I don't know," she started, but words failed her. So much felt at stake, the feelings swirling within threatening to spill over. "Let us take it one step at a time," he encouraged gently. With a deep breath, Sarah nodded and stepped out of the car. The sudden silence enveloped her, amplifying the apprehension in her chest. She needed to focus. Whatever news awaited her at home could shatter everything she thought she knew. As she stepped into the house, the familiar scent of cinnamon and old wood struck her. Every corner of this place held memories, laughter, tears, warmth. But today, it felt different. Today, it felt like confronting skeletons. Amy was in the living room, her eyes wide and red-rimmed. The moment she saw Sarah, she sprang up from the couch, tension radiating from her. "I'm so glad you're here." "Hey, what's happening?" Sarah asked, her heart racing. Their mom's face had always been an unfathomable book, yet today, it seemed to shimmer with untold stories, waiting to be read. Amy's words stumbled out, each one heavier than the last. "It's about a letter from a lawyer. It came last week." The bolt of surprise surged through Sarah as she tilted her head in confusion. "A lawyer? What do they want?" "It's about Mom's past and yours, too." Those last words hit her like a shockwave. Suddenly, the photograph of the man next to her mother wove itself into this new reality. Daniel Hayes, had she been right all along? Was he supposed to be part of her discovery? Before she could question it further, Amy rushed on. There's a trust. Mom made arrangements we never knew about. She set aside money and some information that might change everything for you." "What kind of information?" Panic crept through Sarah, leaving her breathless. Amy swallowed hard. "Things about Daniel. Things about your heritage." The echo of those last words rang in Sarah's ears. Heritage. It felt heavy with implications, as if unlocking a treasure chest filled with uncertainty and hope. She pictured her twins, their futures intertwined with her own unspoken past. Sarah took a step back, overwhelming emotions washing over her, battling her heart's desire to dig deeper. What does all this mean, Amy? Why wouldn't she have told us? Why keep it hidden? I don't know, Amy admitted, tears shimmering in her eyes. But I think it's time you find out. In that moment, the waves of doubt and fear washed over Sarah, drowning her in their depths. Did she have the strength to face whatever her mother had left behind? Would knowing change everything for her and her kids? I can't just dive in without knowing what I'm getting myself into, she said, trembling. Liam's reassuring presence reminded her that she wasn't alone in this. You don't have to do it alone. We'll face it together. With her sister's urgent plea and Liam's unwavering support, Sarah felt a flicker of resolve ignite within her. But as she faced her impending discovery, a nagging instinct told her that the truth they were about to uncover would come with its own set of trials. What would it reveal about her, and would it affect the harmony she'd built for her children? With her heart racing and the shadows outside deepening, Sarah knew one thing for certain: the next step could change everything. How deep into this legacy would she be willing to dig, and what light or darkness might it shed on her family's future? The raindrops began to patter softly against the window, a steady rhythm that matched the pounding of Sarah's heart. She could feel the weight of Amy's words pressing down on her. The house, once a sanctuary, felt like a cage now. Each breath seemed to carry a hint of dread. Sarah, Amy said, breaking the silence. What are you thinking? I'm just, Sarah started, trying to gather her thoughts. I don't know if I'm ready for this. What does it all mean? What if it's worse than we think? Amy stepped closer, her eyes pleading. But what if it's better? What if it's something amazing that could change everything? Sure, there was a flicker of hope hiding beneath her sister's words. Still, doubt gnawed at Sarah. I just want to shield the kids, you know. They're so young, they don't need to carry this with them. Liam placed a gentle hand on Sarah's shoulder. You don't have to make decisions right now. Let us take some time, read the letter together, and figure it out. Or maybe even talk to the lawyer. Yeah, okay. Sarah nodded, her breath coming in quick bursts. They settled onto the couch, the familiar upholstery beneath them now feeling foreign, almost suffocating. Amy reached for the envelope lying on the coffee table. It was worn and slightly crumpled, marking the first signs of a confrontation Sarah never asked for. Her fingers trembled as she watched her sister unfold the paper. What if this is all about Daniel? Sarah's words slipped out, layered with anxiety. I don't know. We'll find out soon enough. Amy's voice was steady, though her hands shook just slightly. The silence thickened as Amy read aloud. The lawyer's tone was formal and detached, outlining the details of the trust, funds, properties, and secrets, things they could never have imagined lying in wait. Sarah leaned in, listening intently. The name Daniel Hayes echoed through the room like a punch to the gut. Wait, Amy paused, her brow furrowing. There's a section about family ties. It mentions a bloodline? What? Sarah exclaimed, feeling lightheaded. What does that mean? As Amy continued reading, Sarah's heart raced. The mention of a lineage, confirmed connections. It was as if another layer of her life was being peeled back. The mystery of her identity, the one she'd pushed away for so long, was crawling back into view. I don't like this, she whispered, despite the part of her that was thrilled to know. What if I don't want to be connected to this? But you're already connected, Sarah. We all are. Liam's gentle, unwavering gaze met hers, pulling her back from the edge of her fears. You owe it to yourself and your kids to understand. A tumult of emotions surged within her: fear, anger, hope, regret. The disoriented feeling morphed into a fierce determination to get to the bottom of it all. It was as if life itself was daring her to take that next step, to challenge the very fabric of her existence. Amy dropped the letter onto the table, her eyes searching Sarah's. So what now? I don't know yet, but we won T back down. This is my life, my history, it's time to confront it. I'll reach out to the lawyer. She felt a rush of strength surge through her, igniting a fire she hadn't realized had dimmed. The rain continued to pelt against the window, each strike a reminder that storms, too, can cleanse. But just as resolve took shape, Sarah's mind flickered back to her twins, cloaked in innocence and unaware of the storm brewing in their family. What if it turns everything upside down for them? She said, voice shaking. I'll be here, every step of the way, Liam promised. The room fell silent, the weight of unspoken fears swirling above them like the gathering storm clouds outside. They were standing at the edge of a precipice, looking into the unknown. Sarah could hardly breathe, anticipation both exhilarating and terrifying coursing through her veins. How far would she have to dig to uncover the truths waiting below? And what if some stones were better left unturned? With her heart pounding, she whispered to no one but herself, I'm ready for this, knowing full well that the next chapter of her life was about to unfold in a way she never anticipated. What awaited her in that intertwining past, and how would it reshape the future for her family? The rain fell steadily now, a soothing backdrop for Sarah's whirlwind thoughts. She held tightly to the worn envelope, it felt like the key to a locked door that had long been forgotten. But this door led not only to memories but also to revelations that could change everything for her and her twins. With a heavy sigh, she looked at Amy and Liam. We need to contact the lawyer, she said, determination shifting her tone. I want to know exactly what Mom left behind. The sunset's hues crept slowly in as they took a moment to grasp the gravity of her words. It felt monumental, as if they were standing on a threshold about to cross into an unknown world. Okay, Amy agreed, her eyes brightening with a mixture of fear and resolve. Let us do it. Together. Liam nodded, a supportive smile breaking through his own uncertainty. He had been woven into the fabric of her life just in time for this pivotal moment. The trio exchanged glances filled with shared courage and unspoken fears as they readied themselves. Over the next hour, they took turns reaching out to the lawyer, their voices marked with urgency and curiosity. The more they learned, the more the pieces fell into place. Sarah's past intertwined with secrets she had never known, legacies that linked her family to a world that felt just out of reach. Tomorrow, then, Amy said finally, tucking the envelope back into her purse. We'll go together. Promise me we'll stay strong, Sarah implored, her heart thunderous. Always, Liam replied, his confidence a lifeline. The night unfolded with gentle conversations seeped in laughter, shadows of worry flickering around the edges. The kisses goodnight with the twins were tender and reflective. Sarah sat on the edge of their beds long after they slept, wondering how much this new path would affect their innocent lives. Would they always view her as their superhero? Or would the truth unravel the image she projected? She sighed, tucking strands of hair behind her ears, feeling the warmth of motherhood wash over her. She quietly vowed to protect that joy, even if the journey ahead threatened it. Morning light filtered through the curtains, warm and inviting. Today was the day they'd learn what had been hidden for so long. A spark of energy thrummed behind her ribs, she felt both alive and anxious, on the precipice of discovery. The twins played happily at breakfast, blissfully unaware of the weight resting on their mother's heart. As they arrived at the law office, each step felt monumental. The hallways echoed with promise and uncertainty, as if they were entering a world where their lives would change irrevocably. The room was crisp, filled with the smell of fresh paper and polished wood. Sarah Malone? A receptionist called, her voice sharp with duty. Here, Sarah replied, her heart racing. The lawyer greeted them with a warm smile but serious demeanor, guiding them into a private conference room. The table was laden with documents, images, and a sense of history unfolding. The lawyer's eyes held kindness but also a depth of knowledge that seemed to carry burdens. Your mother left some very specific instructions for you both, he began, with an air of careful respect. There's much to discuss, more than just about inheriting wealth. It's about a legacy, a family history that connects to this man Daniel Hayes. Sarah leaned in, captivated. What kind of legacy? Your mother was part of something significant research that could fill in the missing pieces of your family tree. It involves not just you, but also the twins. You all have ties to a past that holds power and meaning, and it might open doors you never imagined. Shock rippled through her as he continued unraveling the threads of her mother's life secrets, discoveries, and decisions that shaped their heritage. It painted a vivid picture of love intertwined with loss, ambition with responsibility. Your mother wanted you to be prepared, he said gently. She had plans in place to ensure you never lost connection with your roots. Dread and excitement bubbled in Sarah's chest. What would this mean? What kind of woman was her mother really? And how would it reflect on her own journey, her identity as a mother and as an individual? As the session closed, a sense of lightness danced through Sarah. This was not just about confronting the past, it was about connecting the strands of hope that had been woven into her very essence. Walking out into the sunlight, she realized the heaviness was lifting. With every step, Sarah felt the embrace of her true self, the dreamer, the fighter, the mother ready to face whatever awaited. We'll handle this together, Amy reassured, stepping close. Yes, Sarah murmured, a radiant smile blooming on her face. The future wasn't simply a question mark anymore, it was a canvas waiting to be painted. With her twins at her side and the support of Liam and Amy, she could face anything. Hope surged within her, she was ready to reclaim her narrative. And in that dazzling moment, surrounded by love, she felt her soul awaken with newfound strength. As she turned to look back at Amy and Liam, she whispered resolutely, "This is just the beginning." The cloudy past was clearing, and the horizon ahead gleamed bright and promising. As they moved forward together, Sarah felt the surge of possibility propelling her, a fierce, unyielding fire igniting her spirit once more. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and show your support. Comment below your reactions and feelings about this transforming journey. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment to show your support, and you need to act now. Don't wait not even one more second.